Diddy cover it up. Now, if you're a person who watches this show, you're going, Candace, I read Chaos and I know exactly what this is about. Yup. Yeah, this has been going on for decades. We understand it was very heavily implied and I believe verified in the Chaos book after that reporter worked for decades to file FOI.
Now, not to go ahead and, ruin the plot of the Chaos book, but the main point was that, the CIA was using Charles Manson to elicit drugs onto these teens to get them to do crazy things. And if you remember her, the whole MK Ultra program, it was trying to make people like, I guess, from normal people to psycho serial killer.
And the FBI were involved in the Manson murders, that he was actually a person that was under the auspices of the federal government, Charles Manson. And then the media lied about what happened that day. And if you read that book, Hollywood Babylon, you start to realize, okay, yeah, no, this has been a thing for a long time. Having police officers that actually are agents for the federal government. So that gets interesting when he starts saying that, yeah, no, they definitely covered up a shooting. And I'll read you how he described it, just to go back to the lawsuit. He wrote, one evening during this camp, this was taking place at a recording studio, Mr. Combs, Justin Combs, that is Diddy's son, and G, that is the unnamed person that was allegedly shot, were in a heated conversation. That conversation was moved out of the studio and into a restroom adjacent to where Mr. Jones was sitting. Mr. Jones was approximately 2 feet away from the bathroom when gunshots rang out, and Mr. Jones recalls hearing multiple gunshots. He immediately went into a state of shock and fear that he would be shot next. He genuinely believed that he would be shot through the door due to how close he was. After the shooting ended, a crowd gathered around the restroom. When the door finally opened, Mr. Combs and Justin Combs exited. G was lying on the restroom floor in a fetal position, holding his stomach and bleeding out of his leg and hip area. Everyone stood around looking upon G, frustrated by the lack of aid that was being supplied to G. Mr. Jones dropped everything, ran to G, and immediately began placing pressure on G's gunshot wound to his stomach. As he was applying pressure on his stomach, Mr. Jones realized that G was gushing blood from another area near his leg and his hip. He decided to lift G and placed him to sit on the toilet. Mr. Jones asked the crowd to call the ambulance. Mr. Jones lifted G and brought him to the ambulance at the studio's front. Now, if you're wondering how on earth could they have pulled this off, how could a shooting have happened at a recording studio and we are not aware of it in the public, that's a pretty big thing. Well, the public, and he's alleging this, lied. The media lied and said that it was a drive-by shooting that took place and essentially made it so that no one would worry about what he is alleging was Diddy and his son involved in a shooting.
And we pretty much heard this before. Now, I think she's pretty much, cycled it back over? Yeah, she did. Let's go back to the next one here. Because, this is where it gets crazy. So, and there's going to be some lessons here because, I ain't going to lie, there's some crazy things going on. Poor Beaver.
All right, so here's my conspiracy theory. Another one. I think porn websites have been purposefully created as tools of entrapment. I think they are creating an entire log of who everybody is in the event that somebody becomes powerful in their life, then they have all of these porn websites that you visited. I truly think this, especially people who think their data is safe and they're constantly online. You can see how these websites like Pornhub are encouraging people to look at more frequent and also more disturbing types of porn. Essentially, they exist to pervert your tastes. And then I think people become more and more perverted. They hit weird links. And then in the background, you have people that are collecting that data so that if you ever make it in life, they can go, oh, but we caught you looking at this kind of porn. Now we control you. No matter what you think we can all acknowledge.
Man, you become an important person. They hit you with the look, bro. We seen you watching this. Like, what you mean? I just scroll past it. Nah. We got deeper reports, dog. We know how long you watched it. We seen that you liked it and you commented under it. You freaky bastard.
Now that pornography is a weapon of mass spiritual and political control. I don't care. Everyone got mad at me when I said months ago, ban porn. That's what I believe. It should be banned. And I believe that because I've looked into the history of it. Here's the reality. You can quite literally become a slave to your sin. A man has as many masters as he has vices. By the way, I wish I could take credit for that expression, but that actually came from St. Augustine in his book, City of God. He wrote, quote, "A good man, though a slave, is free, but a wicked man, though a king, is a slave, for he serves as many masters as he has vices." Think about that. If you have a vice and you think you're in control of that vice, you're really not. That vice is actually in control of you. And that is mentioned, St. Augustine's words is mentioned in this book that I'm holding. I think it's required reading for all men. It really looks into the history of pornography in our society.
Really?
That's a book by Catholic author Dr. E. Michael Jones, and it's entitled Libido Dominandi, Sexual Liberation and Political Control. As I said, he traces how we arrived at this incredibly pornographic society that we live in today. I mean, do you even recognize everything is soft core porn? If you're on Instagram, if you're watching.
Let's be real, guys, and let's be real. The shows we used to watch in the day did not show no nudity. No nudity. Now, nudity is almost like common in shows. Think about it. The Game of Thrones era, as soon as we cross over that, I say what was it? The CW era with Vampire Diaries. And the rest of them, things start getting a little bit graphic all of a sudden. Like, bro, I'm talking about we used to just cut through the sex scenes to where they was in bed and we just knew what it was. Now we need the full graphic description and all that good stuff, and then them to act it all out in our face. Yeah, there's a difference going on. There's definitely a difference.
A woman and she's selling a Gucci bag. For whatever reason, she has to be naked. Have you ever asked yourself why? Why must she be naked in order to sell me this Gucci bag? Why must she have her boobs out in order to tell me to buy this perfume? And then if you explore your own mentality and you are one of the people that's going, oh my gosh, how could you say this about pornography? If you have that instant reaction, let me ask you this question. Who taught you that watching porn was a sign of freedom? Who taught you that nudity and pornography were expressions of freedom? Thinking about women and feminism, and they've got their boobs out when they're protesting. Who taught them that that was an expression of freedom? Really pause and think. When I paused and I thought about that, I went.
Yeah, who did tell y'all women that, you need to show more skin, wear shirts that, expose you, or something wild like that. Like the stuff that I see women wear these days even throw me back. I'm like, whoa, I thought we was tripping with the crop tops and Daisy Dukes. Y'all done found a way to outdo that. I mean, women going to the club damn near in see-through shirts and pants. I'm just like, what's going on now?
Back to my high school health class, and I remember quite literally learning, as in it was like an answer to a test, that watching a little bit of pornography was healthy. I'm not kidding. We learned this in school, that watching a little bit of pornography is healthy. I can't even imagine what the kids are learning today. It's a tool for education, as if that's supposed to be the natural way that men and women come together to have sex. Well, this book by E. Michael Jones offers the even darker history. And of course, it somehow brings us right back to the very perverted psychoanalytic community, the people who love Freud. Obviously, we're talking about sexualized children. If you're a person that believes Freud was a father of modern psychology, then you should ask a lot of questions about what modern psychology is and what its aims are. And I want to tell you guys this. You have not been liberated sexually. When you look around, you see everybody and they've got their boobs out, and girls that are selling their bodies on the internet. internet, and women that are convinced that they're models when in reality they are kind of just prostitutes selling their bodies to make money, and convinced that they're somehow more glamorous because they're doing it within the pages of Vogue. Yeah, all of those people have been intentionally enslaved by pornography. But the question is, to what end? Well, as I told you, I think powerful people are being blackmailed, and I think they're being...
I mean, to the end where people don't even care. Oh, let's be real. People are being so blindsided by the money that pornography can provide that they're willing to throw their kids' future away. Like, there's really, like, women with kids that will start doing pornography as if they don't got a kid that's currently going to school, as if they can't be pulled up at any moment. It's wild. Like, think about it. Maya Khalifa tried to get a regular job. Even she tried to get a regular job and she just said, I couldn't do it. People were looking at me weird. Like, well, no, I bet. I don't really know too much about what numbers she was doing, but apparently she was doing enough numbers to where she said, I can't even have a regular job no more. I done sacrifice all this opportunity just for this one moment in my life.
Blackmails all over the world. And I'm talking from royals to basketball and football players to singers to politicians to bankers, you name it, because pleasure is now the drug. Lust is the tool for domination, exactly what this book is about. And there has been no greater example of that recently than the Diddy case, which follows another explosive development yesterday. Now, let me tell you, it's been long suspected since it happened, since she died in, I would say, rather mysterious circumstances, that Diddy had something to do with the death of his ex-partner and the mother to his children, a woman named Kim Porter.
I said that.
Now, what happened was she mysteriously died of pneumonia at the age of 47. Not the typical way that a 47-year-old goes out, especially just when they are about to publish a tell-all book on their very famous ex, Diddy. But that's what happened to Kim. She died of pneumonia at the age of 47 years old. Well, guess what? It was just announced yesterday that Kim Porter's book is being published. It's a 60-page book entitled Kim's Lost Words. It claims to be a collection of the diaries of Kim Porter, the mother of Diddy's children, and it was leaked by her friends. Now, the person who's publishing it is saying that he received...
Hey, man, shout out her friend. Shout out the sisterhood on this one.
...a thumbnail from one of the friends who was very scared, and it is heavily implied they believe that Diddy had something to do with her death. In the book... Porter allegedly recounts discovering and making copies of the sex tapes that Diddy made of himself having sex with young boys that he was managing, including an alleged tape involving an 18-year-old pop star who went on to become a household name.
Not Justin.
Porter alleges that when she discovered those videotapes of Sean and his sexual encounters in the bedroom in this vault, she made copies of them as protection for herself. Realized that this is a very dangerous situation. I'm going to make copies for protection for myself, and included it as a part of her plan to leave him. But the memoir says that when she watched back the tapes, she was so shocked because there were things, quote, some of the tapes had things I would have never expected. The gay parties are one thing. But the young boys, like the two hip hop stars formerly managed by Diddy and the then 18-year-old pop star, I would have never known.
Damn. I
The book
mean,
publisher is claiming that it was the friends that gave him this.
yeah, you think it's only like, all right, it's all right, he's gay, okay. But then I'm just like, hold on, he's a pedo too? And he's been doing this for what? How long? He's doing this to people, like to the boys that he's around? Oh yeah, then now yeah, it's get a little deeper. And then you look a little deeper and then you figure out that, well, it comes from the upper brass, and you're like, uh, oh shit.
Thumbnail, the friends that provided this memoir, the friends also provided copies of these alleged sex tapes so that he knew that it was legitimate. And the final entry of the memoir from Kim Porter, before she mysteriously got pneumonia and didn't survive it as a 47-year-old, is her dramatically telling her friends, quote, "He got me," and then calling 911. So this is getting very interesting. And what has come on the heels of this is people unearthing videos of Justin Bieber at Diddy parties. Now, Justin Bieber was obviously extremely young when he entered the industry, extremely innocent when he entered the industry, an industry that he did not quite understand as a boy who just knew how to sing and play the guitar and just did both of those things on YouTube. Then he was scooped up, and
Yeah, how did Justin Bieber enter the industry?
Through Usher. Justin Bieber used to post videos on YouTube singing, a bunch
Okay.
of songs. And one day he stood out of Usher's studio, waited for him to come out of the studio, and he sung You Got It Bad. And Usher was like, I like you, kid. You got a nice voice. And that's how, Usher became his mentor.
Oh man, and then it all turns out to him being high at a Diddy party
Yep.
with Diddy behind him.
suddenly he
Good
was a
lord, good lord.
part of people like Diddy going after him and saying, "Hey man, why don't you pick up my phone calls?" There's actually a video of that. Diddy and Justin
Usher
Bieber looks
used
to be
to
like
live with Diddy.
15 years old and said, "Why aren't you picking up my phone calls?" And he's like, "Oh, I know you were trying to contact me through people and I don't have your number." And the next thing we know, Justin is at Diddy's parties. And in this one video, it looks like whatever Justin is doing, and I'm not going to show it out of just respect for the fact that I truly believe that Justin Bieber is a victim. But whatever he is doing in this video with Trey Songz and Odell Beckham Jr. looks highly suspicious. I can show you a still from that video because I think the relevant part is Justin Bieber is not sober. He is clearly very heavily under the
Wow.
influence at this party. And if you remember that lawsuit that the producer Rodney dropped against Diddy, he said that unbeknownst to all of these people, they were being drugged at Diddy's parties, that they were pouring out the liquor bottles and replacing it with other drugs. He kept speaking about this pink drug, this mix, this
Then there,
cocktail
liquid
of cocaine
cocaine.
and MDMA, and that people that think they're just drinking vodka or just drinking water are actually all being drugged. And then once they're drugged, they do very vulnerable things. It has long been suspected that the person
I
that
mean,
people are
I used to already feel bad for Justin Bieber. When he first came out, like, not only was he a hit, but it was like he was like everybody's favorite punching bag. So for him to be going through that and going through this on the back end, I mean, like, god damn, bro. No wonder he found Christ. No wonder he turned to God and religion. It's like, it makes sense at this point. It was just all bad.
Now putting the dots together in Kim Porter's allegations that Diddy had under his thumb was Justin Bieber, and that he may have done some inappropriate things with him. And what I will say is that this very much fits the narrative. You know, we saw tons of videos of Justin Bieber. When he got together with Hailey, he was crying a lot, like a lot outside of churches. He was finding his way back to God, but he was having a lot of emotional breakdowns. And what I sensed from those public emotional breakdowns, and only public obviously because the press was following him, was that he was coming to terms with the fact that he had been engaged in darkness unwillingly. And Justin Bieber probably has a lot of shame about that. He probably feels shame, first and foremost, as a man, as a husband, and as someone who has successfully created a new life for himself with his wife, Hailey Bieber. And so what I want to say to Justin Bieber and to everybody that's following the situation is that Justin Bieber is a victim. I was horrified when I saw this, not because of the idea that Justin Bieber would be engaged in these sorts of things at these parties, but because I understood that this was a kid who was intentionally targeted by Diddy, as the videos show, told that he wants to party with him. He makes it clear that Diddy is trying to contact him through people. And then he finally subjects himself and agrees to give his number. And then we saw an entirely different Justin Bieber. We saw Justin Bieber who was always wearing sunglasses, who was partying, who was very obviously involved in drugs. He spoke.
Yeah, and we all know Bieber getting arrested with the lean, crashing out, hanging with certain people he had no business hanging out with. Like, he was hanging out with Little Twist. I'm just like, bro, you mean that? Like, reject Young Money rapper? Like, what?
Hanging out with Little Twist. Lil.
Yeah, people he just need to stay away from. Yep, stay away from.
On TikTok, who does all of these deep dives. Very fun account for you to be following. We'll definitely include him in the links in the description here. So, back in 2018, you may not remember this, I certainly did not remember this until Ian Carroll dug this up, but there was a shooting by a man named Jonathan Bodie at the Trump National Doral Hotel in Miami, okay? And this shooting is back in the news, like I said, because Ian Carroll has dug it up. And I'm going to tell you why this is now a very relevant shooting that happened in the past. But first, I'm going to let Ian jog your memory about what exactly took place that day. Take a listen.
This is from back in 2018, and it's sped up, and there's a couple places where the time lapses, and I won't show you the whole thing. But basically, this guy, Jonathan Odie, walks in with a gun. Somewhere it just time lapsed. He's got a giant American flag. He drapes it all across the counter. Pulls down the chandelier, he said. He shoots some rounds at the ceiling, and then he basically just stands there and waits for police to come. He smashes some for apparently no reason, like just committing crimes for the sake of committing crimes, apparently. And then he just stands around with a gun, and now the cops are outside, and he's like kind of giving up and surrendering, but maybe they're not realizing it or accepting it. So then he pulls out a gun, starts shooting at them, doesn't hit any of them as far as I'm aware. He runs out of bullets or something. Not sure what happens exactly, but at a certain point, he decides it's time to book it.
Oh, wait.
Okay, so why is Ian digging up this old shooting? Well, that man, Jonathan Bodie.
What the? Happened? Did the live stream end? Did it? Oh no. Oh, okay, I guess not.
Had a very interesting interview with the police thereafter. And we were told at the time that he was just a madman who was crazy, because he was saying some pretty insane things, at least relative to 2018. Like I said, just at the time, they were insane. He said that he was a sex slave to Diddy and his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, that he was their sex slave and he had to have sex with them and other people, that he attended all of these drug-fueled parties. He then claimed that he was paid off by Diddy. And it's worth noting that Jonathan Bodie used to be a porn actor and a male stripper. And he claimed in that interview that he settled with Diddy for $1.25 million. Now, interestingly enough, NBC Miami investigators were able to determine some really rather suspicious financial facts about Jonathan Bodie. Like the fact that when he divorced his...
Hold on, chat. Hold on. I think I got a low key. And then we can go ahead and get it, put it back on. That? Whoo, there we go. Believe we should be good. But yeah, that ain't turned out too well.
His wife back in 2014, he had a declared net worth of negative $1,800, and he was making just $2,000 a month as a settled with Diddy for $1.25 million. Now, interestingly enough, NBC Miami investigators were able to determine some really rather suspicious financial facts about Jonathan Bodie, like the fact that when he divorced his wife back in 2014, he had a declared net worth of negative $1,800, and he was making just $2,000 a month as a self-employed fitness trainer. But less than a month after his divorce, he apparently fell into some money, a lot of money, because he...
Yeah, sorry about that. The stream was lagging a little bit and, have to restart that one.
Bought 5 properties over the course of a 2-month period, for which he paid $765,000 cash. cash. I want to be clear, that's quite suspicious. Where was he getting all that money from? Maybe he was telling the truth about being paid off by Diddy. He also claimed that there was an assassination attempt that was being planned for Donald Trump. He spoke about the Black Illuminati, and there's more, okay? He claimed, as he's speaking more about these Diddy parties and speaking about drugs, that there was a quote-unquote hip-hop agenda. Take a listen carefully to what he says here.
The hip-hop agenda is an agenda to move drugs all over the United States. You need to inform the DEA. They move all the dope, all the dope on private jets. Don't get cleaned by customs, by the inside the United States. Okay, they move what's called high grade powder MDMA. They move cocaine and they move liquid cocaine in the bottles too. Okay, so they put the liquid cocaine in the bottles and they move it. I've seen the liquid cocaine. I've drank it myself, having sex with Diddy and Cassie. Okay, it's not good. He drinks it all the time. All right, he calls it G juice, but it's liquid cocaine.
Well.
So just to slow that down for you, in case that audio wasn't clear for you, what he is saying is that the hip-hop agenda is essentially to move drugs into the United States, to use these hip hop stars to move drugs onto their private planes. And
remember, what did Juice WRLD get caught with when he died? Pounds and pounds of marijuana.
And those private planes are intentionally not checked by the Border and Custom Control, and that they're moving things like liquid cocaine, which he says Diddy refers to as Tucci, which is cocaine mixed with MDMA. Now, that's from 2018. When Lil Rod dropped his lawsuit against Diddy, he spoke about this pink cocaine, this liquid cocaine that they were replacing in all of the bottles. So people were coming over, like I just said in the monologue, and were thinking they were having a regular drink at Diddy's house, but in reality, they were being drugged. And you've got the MDMA effects plus cocaine. That it's also been known that Tucci is mixed with other psychostimulants. So just imagine why it is, perhaps, that LeBron James says that Diddy has the absolute best parties. This guy was saying that then, that our government is somehow involved in moving this stuff into America. Now, why is that very easy to believe? Well, because our government has been involved.
And, it's all through our music, the traffic, drugs, and I like to call it the Black Illuminati. Not only does it traffic drugs, but it traffics bad ideology onto the Black community.
In moving drugs for a very long time. Now, I know there are people out there that really love to watch a good Netflix show and to believe that the DEA was established because we had to stomp out all of these Mexican cartels. But the reality is that we had to stomp out these cartels because we are the cartel. Okay, we are the cartel, the most successful.
Man, shout out Chris Reed, man. Appreciate the support, big dog. When I was in high school, we had a car wash fundraiser. What is the difference? What is the difference than a high school fundraiser than what P. Diddy did? I'm weak. We had a car wash fundraiser. What is the difference than a high school fundraiser than what P. Diddy did? That's good. Well, high school. Well, goddamn, bro. I mean, damn. I just now thought about it. I'm like, whoa. With the exploiting of little girls, you know what? I mean, God damn it.
Drug cartel in the entire world is right here in America.
That's a good point, but it's a dark good point.
Because they partnered with the government, okay? You've got the drug makers that are partnered with the government, that are partnered with the agencies, and the only time that they go down to stomp out a drug dealer down in the South is really when that drug dealer is on their turf. So that's been a fact. We have known that the CIA has been involved in various drug running operations. And so it begs the question when you put this all together and you think about there have been so many, by the way, so many rappers have been caught with tons of drugs on their planes. Is this a Fed operation? And my instincts tell me absolutely this is a Fed operation. It always has been a Fed operation, that Hollywood is creating false idols, that gangster rap is a homosexual affair between the
gangster rap is a homosexual affair. And I'm gonna be real with you, like Black women, most of these guys that you came to like in the music industry has turned out to be gay. I'm sorry. So you know what this means? There's a reason why you don't like masculine Black men, because you like gay men all your life. That's why they're your best friends, and that's why they're your DL boyfriends. It just all makes sense now. I'm just playing, of course, but some of y'all I'm speaking truth to.
Feds finding homosexuals in prison. So there's a direct prison music pipeline and cutting them deals to encourage them to make rap, which is filth. To get kids on the street addicted to drugs, addicted to gang banging, and then to guarantee themselves an influx of people that are in the prisons that they own. But I don't know. I'm a conspiracy.
Oh God, bro, that gangster stuff was a little bit homosexual. Like, come on, man, you got your pants below your waist around other dudes. What you think? And hold on, they're in a room with their pants down below their waist. Like, that's just cool. And you don't think nothing going on? All right. But he's masculine. Oh, he's a protector. He hood. I want me a hood nigga. AKA, I want me a gay boy.
Conspiracy theorist, but looking back at that man's tape and what he also said about Tupac, and he's like, yeah, Tupac's alive. He's in Cuba. I think he said they gave him a nose job and put him in Cuba. I don't know, but it's worth realizing that everything that he said that sounded crazy, too much of it has been fact-checked true into the future. Very bizarre, and I just encourage you guys to remember that Hollywood is demonic. Okay, it is created as the new Babylon, and everything that they are doing is to try to.
Maybe we do need to do it in the Black community. Let's just frame the whole image of a hood nigga as gay. There you go. Niggas gonna stop wanting to be gangsters, and we just all frame it as, well, oh, you're gay. Okay, you're gay now. You're hanging around with a bunch of dudes with your pants down. Ah, damn it, I lost a son. It's like, yeah, we gotta start framing it. If we give people that framing of hood niggas, maybe we'll have less hood niggas.
to encourage you to worship those celestial stars. They're getting you to believe that these people like Diddy and Jay-Z and whoever are so cool and admirable, when in reality, in my view, they are all agents of the government, which is why it is that they all have the exact same political opinion. Don't you find that weird? Like, when I think about like Jay-Z and Beyonce, and these are more names that are coming up as people are starting to prod this narrative around Diddy, I'm just like, how has there never been a time where Beyonce on any subject has disagreed with the government? Like, if there wasn't like on the trans